My name is Robyn, and I have lived in America for over 11 years. I lived in New Jersey, very close to New York, for about 10 years of that time, and I've currently now moved to Nashville, Tennessee, where I currently reside. I still think that gender inequality really does exist. Women are still seen as sexual objects. It's still something seen as a joke. It's seen as a joke, and it really isn't a joke, because it really is a big issue, but people are brushing it off as a joke because we're women. We're just meant to always take the grief. I do think there is a big difference being a man and being a woman in this country. The way that you're taken seriously. I think that a man is more taken seriously than a woman, especially in this state. Just being here in the past couple of months, I felt that some people have looked at me stupid because I'm a woman, and sometimes I ask questions, and apparently it's insulting to ask a question because it shows that you're not intelligent in the subject. And I've really got some kind of people looking at me like I'm dumb, which is upsetting, and it's mostly because I'm a woman. So that's where I feel like gender inequality still exists when it comes to the things we do. I think that was really changed in the past 10 years though. A lot more women are taking on roles of men. Again, we're seeing like women are now becoming doctors and surgeons and truck drivers and mechanics and engineers, and they're coding, and it's becoming, in this country, there's a big kind of rush to want to get girls into these failing industries that we're now seeing, like engineering and coding and things that come to creating and building and inventing. Some big issues that are going on in this country at the moment is stuff like consent and abortion and pay gaps, and it really, it doesn't seem like a big issue to most people. When most people hear those words, they'll be like, oh, well, what does that mean? But it seriously is a big issue, to the point we have radio commercials about consent and that no means no, that we have to educate people that it's a no-no and that it's a bad thing, even though it's something that should already be seen as a bad thing, and you should know the difference. The big issues, going back to what I was saying, would be even abortion. In this country, it's allowed in some states and it's not allowed in others. And I really do find it to be a big issue, because I do think it's a woman's choice. And it's now being a woman's choice that's being taken away from her, even if she was raped or the child was because of incest. And I really think it's horrible. It's horrible. There's 15-year-old girls that are forced to have babies because they are not allowed to have an abortion because it would be seen as wrong. It should be a choice. In this country, another big issue is being pay gaps. And pay gaps meaning there's a big difference of what a man is paid compared to a woman. To the dollar, I think the amount is 72 cents. Something like that. Something in the 70s range. So we get 70% of a man's paycheck, where a man would get $100, we would get $72. And I think that is crazy. Do I feel like women's rights needs to be changed in North America? I do. I do think they need to bring more awareness to the fact that women now can hold jobs that men can, and that we're just as equally as amazing as a man, and we can get the same amount of work done. There used to be this idea that once a woman had children, she was done for and she was never going to work again, and she was going to constantly just be a mom. But a lot of women in this country are showing that you can be a mom and you can have an awesome job and you can get stuff done just as easily as a man can. And I think that's definitely something that's changing. Do I feel like women's rights has to be changed in North America? I think they need to bring more attention that women are no longer the housewife, and we do go out and we get ourselves jobs, and we're engineers and we're coders, and we're catching up to the men. There's a big issue of abortion in this country, which I really do feel needs to be addressed. And I do think it should be a woman's